And just like that, my first semester of medical school is finally complete. In this video, I'll be going through some of my overall impressions of medical school so far, some things I'm looking forward to during break, and some of the things I'm looking to improve going forward into my second semester, rounding out my first year. Let's get started. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel, and thank you for clicking on this video. For those of you who may be new to my channel, my name is Terence. I'm currently a first-year medical student here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I make YouTube videos about my medical school experience, as well as MCAT and pre-med videos for all you up-and-coming medical students. So I'm on winter break right now, and the first semester of medical school just came to a close last Friday. Just for context, I guess it's Monday, and we have a 2-week break, and we start the first week of January. And right now, I'm super happy to be on break. Just overall impressions of the first semester of medical school and medical school in general, it's definitely met my expectations. I remember I made a video back, with the first week of medical school, the first exam of medical school, just reflecting on those things.
There's no way you can experience it or know what it's like unless you go in and actually experience it. So when I was going through it, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm like, this is so much information. How am I gonna digest all of this? How am I gonna stay on top of all of this? This is so overwhelming.
All the different things that doctors or prior students have told me about, they were all true, and nothing really came for a surprise. I would say for sure that it was just as hard as everybody kind of says it is. You have to really work, you have to have long days, you have to study a lot. There's this constant internal conflict where, am I doing too much? Am I doing too little? Will this translate on the exam? Just having the latest exam, one of my biggest fears was, will my studying, will all this preparation actually translate to me doing well on the exam? It's a fear that a lot of students have in undergrads, a fear that I had as studying for the MCAT, and it's a fear that continues to kind of lurk on in medical school. And it's one of those things that you kind of feel like soon as you get really, really good at something, as soon as you really find and reach that pinnacle, you're onto a new block and you're onto something new where you have to kind of start from scratch. And that's the trouble, that's a challenge, constantly having to readapt and adjust. But that's also the fun part at the same time, learning yourself, learning what works best for you. And I guess that's a good segue to go into with just learning and what I've learned about myself as a student from these first few blocks of medical school. So we've had 3 blocks so far. The first one was just kind of an introductory block. The second one was infectious diseases and some virology. And this third block was cardiovascular. The first block, I will say, I was a bit naive. I went in, I was doing all my own Anki cards. I was creating my own flashcards. I was attending all the lectures live, and I wasn't really being as efficient with my time. I was fresh then, so I could do it, and it worked for me because I had the energy to do it, but it wasn't something that was sustainable. And as I went into the second block, I relied on a lot of pre-made study materials and pre-made decks and a lot of external resources, maybe even too much. So I went from one phase being in block 1, being all me, all my own study materials, all my own stuff, to block 2, where I was going completely opposite, where I was almost going all external resources, all pre-made stuff, and I didn't really have my own twist on it. And then when you go into block 3, and when I transitioned into block 3, cardiovascular now, and in cardio, a lot of concepts, a lot of physiology, a lot of trying to understand really how things work. And if you understand how things work in the body through just general principles, then it helps you understand the deeper details. And doing that, I didn't really know how to approach it. I didn't really know what would work best. Would these cards work best? Would pre-made decks work best? Should I just create my own decks? And what I ended up doing in the third block was doing a lot of lecture previews. So what I would spend a lot of time, and probably too much time now that I reflect back on it, but spending a lot of time just going through the lectures the night before, and essentially just going through that and trying to teach myself everything that I need to learn before I went to lecture. And this was probably helpful because I ended up learning a lot of the stuff on my own, but at the same time, it was super time consuming, and I just felt like it wasn't sustainable. And I think that's something that is a personal conflict with me, just wanting to find something and constantly trying to hack the system to where I'm trying to find something as sustainable as possible, because I want to do all the things that I enjoy doing. I want to do the clubs, I want to go to the journal clubs, I want to go to different meetings, I want to do research, and I want to have leadership positions. I want to volunteer, and I want to do well in school at the same time. And it's one of those things where I feel like I'm in constant battle, and I'm constantly fighting myself over what is best. And that's what I'm figuring out. I'm glad I have this 2 weeks to kind of really reflect on this time. And during this 2 weeks, I'll give you kind of like a breakdown of what my break's looking like. I'm really just chilling, not really doing anything. I have a lot of research that I wanted to catch up on and stuff that I've been pushing back. I've been really fortunate to get into some orthopedic research here in Philly, get on a couple projects and get involved. I'm really grateful for the opportunities I've been able to take on. But with medical school and these are things that these PIs and these doctors understand. With medical school, it just becomes super overwhelming. And my goal is to be the best student possible, but also be the best individual I am possible. And I can't be the best individual possible without balancing the things I love to do, like research, going to the gym, exercising, taking care of myself, and also academics at the same time. So I think that's why I have this conflict of wanting to continuously improve my study habits so that I can make time for the things that I really, really enjoy to do. Not that I don't enjoy school, not that I don't enjoy the material, but when you're spending 8 hours, 10 hours a day on just lecture content, lecture material, it doesn't become like fun. It becomes more just like work that you have to do, work that you have to put in to get to the other side. Things I'm trying to do going forward, I think that I learned a lot from doing a lot of pre-made decks and understanding that there's a lot of external resources out there that have already done the work for me, and all I have to do is use them and bring them into my toolbox. I'll probably spend a lot less time on just taking notes on lectures, because when it came down to the exam, this past exam, I had all those notes and I never even reviewed them one time. So just learning little things about myself and learning what I do and what I don't do, what works best for me. I think that's some of the best things that I've been able to experience thus far as a medical student. The next thing that I want to go through is kind of just like what things that I've got involved with. So I had mentioned in a prior video, but I'll mention it here. I've been elected as a class representative or a liaison for the Orthopedic Society here. And that's a club that I knew from kind of like the jump that I want to get involved with. My background has been in orthopedics, and I did a clinical research year as an orthopedic hand practice. So I knew I wanted to get involved with orthopedic research here, and just being able to be on an executive board at a club, it kind of gives me, just access to different people that have the same interest in me as me, and are able to give me that like advice and that guidance that I may need going forward, and I will need going forward. So that's what I've been able to get into, and through that I've been able to do a couple different volunteer experiences, which are always gratifying and always fulfilling. Still stuff that I want to do more of, but with volunteering, it's a lot of hands-on. It's a lot of like in people's faces, and with COVID, it's a lot of restrictions on the things that we're able to do. But those are just some of the things that I'm looking forward to going forward, and expanding on even more. To move on to the next topic, I say, if I were to talk about some of the things that I'm most happy with as far as my medical school and just my medical school experience overall, one of the things was learning a lot about myself and learning a lot about the things that I enjoy doing as far as how I learn, what I gravitate towards. Do I gravitate towards clinical medicine? Do I gravitate towards the physiology? Do I gravitate towards the pharmacology, the biochemistry? There's all these different fields and all these different classes that we have to take, and figuring out kind of like what I gravitate towards and what I love and what I enjoy learning about the most has been super gratifying. I think the next best thing is learning from all the different classmates I've had. Because of COVID, we have a lot of restrictions and the different types of people we're able to meet. But the groups that I've been able to communicate with thus far and learn from and become friends with, I think that it's been like some of the greatest experiences that I've had as far as learning from other people and being able to rely on others, and also being somebody that is in a group with people that are all like open to being wrong or being corrected or improving, and everybody's super nice, but everybody's also able to give positive feedback and positive criticism so that we all get better and we all grow together. So that's something that I've loved having the opportunity to do, just meeting so many great people and meeting so many smart and intelligent people that you would never be able, your paths will never cross otherwise. You know, those are some of the greatest experiences that I've had thus far. And I think overall, just being in a situation where you're literally living, and as a medical student, this is something I'll never take for granted. You're living your dream. You know, you work so hard all those years before. You literally work from grade school. I know only high school and like college counts, but like all these years you've been planting seeds and building up for this moment. And no matter where and in your journey you initially fell in love with medicine, you still had to work to get to this point. And just living the dream that you pictured for yourself, all those hours studying for the MCAT, all those hours as an undergrad studying for exams, all those hours you put in for those applications, stressing over interviews, stressing over applications, all that stuff finally comes true when you come here and you sit into your seat and you log into your Zoom lecture or whatever the case may be. I try to never take it for granted because it's something that's unique and something that there's so many people out there fighting year after year to get into. And I think that just being able to accomplish something like that and to make it through this first semester and pass exams and meet great people and learn a billion new words and terminologies and speak a completely different language essentially, I think that that's something that I can never take for granted. And every step of the way, it's good to have videos like this to reflect. So without making this video too long, I just wanted to kind of talk about some of the things I'm looking forward to in the springtime for the next semester and how I'm going to wrap up the end of my first year. Honestly, I just want to be able to continue to do the things that I've been doing. I think that so far it's been a gratifying and really eventful experience. You do get exhausted, you do get burnt out, you do get tired, but I think that if I can balance everything, if I can go to the gym, or if I can get a workout in, if I can spend time with friends and family, if I can spend time with my classmates, if I can do research, if I can balance it all, you know, clubs, volunteer events, I think that's my ultimate goal, just being able to balance it all and trying to continuously improve, as I mentioned earlier in this video. But I think that some of the things I'm looking forward to the most are probably just getting involved and getting to be face to face with classmates again and just continuing the grind. I love this. I love working hard. I love working hard for something, not knowing when you're going to get the fruits of your labor until you look up and you've been working for 4 years and all of a sudden you have all these fruits available to you and you've made all these beautiful connections and you met all these great people. So I love the process in this, and I love the opportunity just to be able to document it for you guys and just share it with anybody that's out there that may need this type of perspective, or for myself in the future when I look back and I think about, you know, what was my experience like? How could I have made my experience better? How can I mentor somebody else that was going through it to be different than what I did, or be better than what I did? So those are some of the things I'm looking forward to. Right now on break, I'm literally just going to be chilling, doing some research, and just enjoying spending time with friends and family, going home in a couple of days for holiday break, and then we're just going to be chilling for about a week. But with that being said, I'll end it here. Thank you so much for listening to my reflection, listening to my content, watching my content, supporting me. All you guys that send me emails, send me messages, comments on my videos. I cannot thank you guys enough. You guys really push me and fuel me when I'm feeling down. That opportunity to like make content for you guys and really share my experience to potentially uplift somebody, I never take it for granted. So I can't thank you guys enough for all that support. If you're new to my channel, go check out my different videos. I make videos on the MCAT, make videos on pre-med advice, my experiences. I just put out a new vlog series on my channel. It's a cardiovascular day in the life vlog over a week. It's a 5-part series. You should check that out if you are interested in what my days are more like on a detailed level. And be sure to let me know if you enjoy it by leaving a comment. So I appreciate you guys again. See you in the second half of my first year of medical school. Happy holidays, and let's get it.